Welcome all to this tutorial. Today we're gonna do a bit of phrasing in our filters. So we want to add like these spaces and new lines so it doesn't all look like one gigantic line. We want it to be very neat, nice, so when the user goes into a new line that the keylogger also goes into the new line. When they're deleting something that you know that they've pressed the backspace. Although backspace perhaps is not as useful. And when they press a space, we want to have a space, and that needs to look very nice and neat. We don't want it to look sloppy, primarily because when you go and when you start reading through it, it can be a nightmare when you don't have proper not sure if it's probably not called phrasing, it's just sorting, let's put it like that, shall we? So all we need to do is just keep on adding case statements, but this time we're going to use virtual keys. So this is the list of virtual keys that I have intended to put in here today. So you can put a lot of other ones. There are a lot of them. You can put ones for the numlock. You can put ones for the F keys. I believe I should put the escape one here. We can do that at the end of the tutorial if I remember to find it on the net as well. But in any case, it's not a bad idea to have them. There are a few mandatory ones without which the reading through the log files will be impossible. But hey, you can also put the arrow keys. I didn't put them in here primarily because I don't see a point, but you can if you want. It's up to you completely. So let's type in case, and instead of a number, we're going to use a virtual key. So vk underline space. I'm just going to put a colon at the end, and after that, all we need to do is type in. We don't really need the brackets. With the curly brackets, we can just type in right. We don't need to check anything for shifts or anything of a kind. I would just like you to write a space into the file, and that is literally it. Afterwards, of course, break, because I don't want you to go any further. Hold on. Break. Next up, we're gonna type in case vk. Which one shall we use now? Let's use the return. That's the enter. So we need a new line. Return. And we're gonna type in a colon there. So just write. What shall we write out? So this will be a new line character like this. Okay, so again, break. And do we really need the backspace? Oh wait, we need tab. We definitely need tab. Break and oops, not break, sorry. Case. And we shall write vk tab colon. Don't really like that much to code and talk at the same time. It's not a good idea at all. Perhaps it is better when I show you the code after I've written it, but we'll alternate and we'll see how it goes. So case tab, and for this we will write quite literally just press there we go, quite literally just press a tab, and that's it. And we can also put one for backspace, why not? I mean, no big deal, right? Case. At the end we can put a default case as before, but we'll see how will that work out, and will we actually put it. If we do put it, it's gonna have our keylogger is gonna have a broader range of what it grabs, but keep in mind that there is only so much that you need to grab with a keylogger. A lot of keyloggers out there send you a lot of information, and they grab a lot of keystrokes which are of little to no use to you. So what we are trying to do is narrow it down to only those segments which are useful to us and which are probable to be which are likely to be used. Anyway, let's go ahead and put the backspace. So vk back and right we can type in backspace, and we can put like the separations, spaces, beginning and the end. I don't know if I'm gonna write something else, but I'm just gonna type in break here in case I do, even though it doesn't really make much sense at the moment. So now we have these statements here, and I'll show you how much prettier will our input look like. Well, it won't look like anything if we have errors. Let's see what the problem is. Well, a semicolon would have been nice. Is that the only thing? No, unfortunately it's not. What else is the problem? Okay. So I forgot to place a colon there. It's working through now. Okay, so good. No logic errors, just a typo. None that I can see anyway. Okay, so let's go ahead and delete this file as a whole. Save. You can probably put in a few other keys if we like delete and escape. Okay, so user name, and you'll see what happens now. Tralala, password, blah blah blah, tralala. There we go. So user, and then it says backspace, name, tralala, password, blah blah blah, tralala. Okay, so let's go ahead and make this a bit more interesting. Let's go ahead and onto the net, virtual key codes, and let's find for del and escape, because I'm not a magician. This is pretty much what I do. I browse the web and I look for the things that I need. When I encounter a problem, I don't just magically pull the solution out of my hat. So no worries there. escape. There we go. So VK escape is the one that we need. We can also write these notations, but I prefer these as it's a little bit clearer when you're reading through the code to know what is it exactly that line of code is doing. So we're going to conduct a real-life test now as well. Case, backspace, escape, and right. I don't feel like putting these spaces here. It doesn't look pretty at all. So let's go ahead and remove this. Type in right, and here we're gonna put, what shall we put? I don't know, ESC. I think that's going to be sufficient. And there is just another one that I would like to put in, which is del. I think it's VK del. What else could it be? But let's just be certain of that. So case, and do this. Control F. Delete. It's VK delete. There you go. Not always right. Case. Okay, delete. And we can right now write. What shall we write here? So I think del will suffice. Let's just use delete. God, I'm awesome at this, aren't I? Making these sort of mistakes, but oh well. And because I don't know, I'm just gonna type in break here, because this list is going to probably keep on expanding throughout the course, but that's really up to you. You can request certain characters from me and I can implement them here, so no big deal. I want to encourage as much as possible for us to communicate and to, you can provide ideas and I can show you how you can do it, etc. That's my plan anyway. So let's go ahead and stop this first and let's conduct a live test. So we're gonna go ahead and delete this whole file, so we don't want anything in it. Oh, by the way, you can also delete the file. The whole file is just going to get recreated the next time the program runs, so don't worry about it if you have deleted it or something of a kind. So let's go ahead and begin the session. It is now missing something somewhere. These things as usual, so delete. Where am I missing it? Okay, 142. Not a colon, I need a semicolon. Okay, how about now? Will the session be so kind as to run? There we go, so it is running. Currently we have it set up running in Eclipse, but later on I will show you how you can actually hide it, even though how you can hide this executable file somewhere on the system, and how you can hide it from the user as well. So we will cover that, don't worry, but for the time being this is just a test run. So let's open up Firefox or whatever browser you want. It won't make a bit of difference. Let's type in, we can use any website that we want really. Here we can actually use Udemy. This is going to work regardless whether the site is HTTPS or HTTP, whether whatever, it's completely irrelevant. I'm just using the site as an example, so I would like to log into my account. I'm not going to obviously log into my own account, but anytime now, either the net is really slow or the virtual machine is really slow. These days I really need a new computer. If this crashes, I'm going to, I don't know, come on. Please. Is enabled. Anytime now. No. Okay, so let's just use some other site. I don't know. Gmail here, whatever. Could you just please open the site? I don't know, for some strange reason I didn't want to open Udemy. If I click on sign in, I can enter the email. So please make sure you have a permission to do this. This is going to be our username, quite a complex username, really stupid of me. It says, sorry, Google doesn't recognize this email. Well, I'm just an abundance of failures today. I need a place where I can actually type in a username and a password. Let's go to Ubuntu forums and try to do it there. I'm just an abundance of fantastic examples today. Come on, my friend, come on. Okay, so this is not important. Of course, all of this is being logged, and you will see when we open up the log file. And there we go. So finally, a place where we can, hey there, or even better. So user, even better, user name, password. God, why are you doing this to me now? Password. Excellent. So username, password, you can feel free to close it, and probably need to update Firefox or something of a kind. I need to clean this computer up, bring it into shape and working order, this virtual machine that is. And now we can go ahead and open up our file, and wow, we have a lot of things. So it says Udemy, and then we've typed in Udemy, and then we've typed in Gmail, and this is what we've typed into the Gmail as a username, and then there's like, hey there, backspace. I've been deleting something quite a lot, and there we go. So it says user name, and then it says password. word, and then something happened, and I had to type it in again. So because we're on the net, we've been doing a lot of things back and forth, and some of the things got logged in a way that they did because this is a realistic one. But these logs will improve over time as we add a few more filters. Feel free to try it at home. Don't go about stealing passwords or something of a kind, or installing it on machines that you don't have the permissions to, but rather instead install it in your own machine and run a test run, and you will see it will record the username and password when you type it in. It will record everything else as well, but hey, that's just an extra benefit or a burden because you have to sift through the log file. These log files can be like 50 pages long because sometimes keyloggers tend to run in a system for days on end, and then the email gets sent, so you have to sift through it and find what you're looking for. Anyway, I bid you all farewell, and I hope to see you in the follow-up tutorial.